Welcome to my first ever Q&A. Never done this before. Always wanted to, but never really knew how to start them. Kind of simple though. I could have just asked you guys to ask me questions. So in my last video at the end, I asked you guys to ask me questions. I also posted a few things on my IG story to ask me questions. And I didn't read any of these yet. I didn't plan ahead of time. So this is going to be straight from the dome. Share some of my knowledge. Share some of my personal life if you guys ask about that. But here I am, if you guys care. James Ramos asked what my 40-yard time is. I think I can run a minimum of 4.6. I'm going to be delusional and say I can run 4.5, so I'm going to say 4.6 just to play it safe. Justin asked what my take is on Victory insoles. Look at Victory as just another pair of insoles, another product that can help with comfortability or placebo effect. It's like having a different pair of shoes. However, it's not going to be a game changer. I actually posted a full depth review of me testing them, breaking them in, seeing how they work out, and spoiler alert, they didn't increase my vertical. Just go train. Don't look for shortcuts. Nate asked, are you spiritual or religious? I've never really tackled this subject on my channels, but I am pretty religious, not super religious. I'm not going to dive too deep into this question, but I like to believe that there's a higher power out there. Arif.whelp asked, do you think anyone who played a lot of sports growing up has a 50-inch potential? Great question, and I don't think so. Just because you have an extensive history of playing sport doesn't give you the automatic 50-inch potential. However, we don't really know that. To be able to have a 50-inch potential, guys like Isaiah, Dak, Tony, Dylan, those guys are genetic freaks. They also trained a lot and they jumped a shit ton. Just because you played a lot of sports, maybe you have 40-inch potential. It is going to increase your potential. I don't know about 50 inches though. Same guy also asked, do you think everybody with at least average genetics has potential for 40-inch vertical? I do think that. As long as they train hard, they train early enough, and they train long enough. Dame asked how to train during season. Well, firstly, you got to look at the demand of your sport. Each specific sport has their own specific demands. You also got to consider the frequency at which you're playing and practicing. How many times are you practicing? How many games are you having per week? From there, you can conclude what type of program fits you best. The main thing you want to do is keep volume low, intensity high, and frequency depending on the amount of frequency you're playing your sport. Train heavy, lift heavy, but if you're also jumping a lot in your sport, like volleyball, basketball, those sports have a lot of elastic contacts in there, so it makes no sense to have plyos in your workout. Tackle the qualities that you're not getting in your sport. Strength training. Maybe max velocity, sprinting. Casper asks, how important is visualization? It's super important. It also kind of ties in with obsession, just thinking about the goal you have nonstop, thinking about what it would be like to achieve that. I'm going to go over into the mentality aspect because it's super underlooked, super underrated. Firstly, you want to visualize your goal. How would you feel if you reached that goal? But just like training, you want to cut that up into small parts. Visualize your next workout and prioritizing the movement that you're struggling with. Doing a PR on a back squat, a PR on a power clean. You can visualize everything and it helps with your mentality. Top or bottom? How small is it? How big is it? You do OF2? NJ Marquez _ Jai Kyra asks, how do you go from room grazing to dunking? Jump higher, man. Train hard, stay consistent, and hop on a program that works out, aka hop on Get Up. Question on YouTube from Cole Welch. Thoughts on normal recovery, not from injury, just how to deal with volume fatigue on joints, etc. Best times for stretching, foam rolling, Theragun, sauna, cold plunge, etc. It's a pretty good question. Firstly, let me get this out of the way. Stretching, foam rolling, sauna, etc. All of those, they feel good, but they're more hyped up than anything else. And they're not going to be the needle movers in recovery or the past few months of training. These things don't have many benefits to performance other than it feeling good. Stretching, if you are immobile and inflexible. The main needle movers in recovery, getting good sleep, getting a good diet. Those are the main things you should really focus on. You want to get around 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but just because you are sleeping that much doesn't mean that it's going to be good quality. There's REM sleep, deep sleep, and core sleep. They all have different benefits and there are different stages of when you're sleeping. Those things really depend on the time you sleep, how consistent you are at sleeping at that time, any other things that you do before you sleep, like if you're drinking a lot, eating a lot. So you want to make sure you're mastering that more than anything else. Second on the list is eating a good diet. Eating enough protein, enough carbs. As a jumping athlete, very low fat, but still getting your necessary essential fats. Eat more whole foods. And the third on the list is controlling your volume using load management. You want to have a structured program that considers the total load, the total volume you're doing in your week, depending on your practices, your games, if you're off season, in season, how experienced you are as an athlete and with training, a lot of different things because every single athlete is different, right? Not a lot of people understand that. So if you want individualized coaching and training, feel free to hop on Get Up. I've helped hundreds of athletes get their first dunk, start jumping higher, get healthy from a lot of different injuries, including knee pain. So if you want the most structured and most individualized program out there to jump higher, get more athletic, I only reach out to 5 to 10 athletes per month just to make sure I have enough time to train everybody, and I cap it out there. It's only me on GetUp, so I want to make sure that I'm giving as much time as possible to everybody. Sign up with the link in the description. That was a long answer, I'm sorry. Popong asks, are loaded jumps a good alternative to power cleans? I would say if you don't have the time to learn a power clean, then yeah, it could be a decent alternative. However, if you do have the time and you want to get as best as possible as an athlete, I believe getting good at a power clean is step one. Not only are you going to get the benefits of what a power clean does to you, like getting good at a second pull and getting explosive and triple extension, increasing eccentric RFD during the catch, you're also going to get more coordinated as an athlete because of how technical it is to learn this movement. So once you get coordinated with this, maybe other types of movements will get more comfortable as well. I like to look at different movements as a piece of the whole puzzle. You want to do all these different movements, master all these different movements, a squat, a hinge, a power clean, sprinting, bounding, jumping. You want to get good at all of these things so that it creates the whole athlete. The whole athlete is the puzzle. So the more movements you master, the better you become as an athlete. Alonzo asked, I was thinking about how you could... Okay, there's a lot of typos here. I was thinking about asking you how to improve knee pain, chondromalacia, but I think it will be more useful to talk about what's your mental approach to overcome chronic pain. That is a great question. And honestly, this whole year has been riddled with injuries for me. After having my best year jumping wise last year, it has been tough knowing that I'm not at my peak right now because every single year of me training has me getting better and better and better. This year, I fell off a little hard. I'm not washed, I swear. I still got a few dunks this year, but I wasn't as good of an athlete because I've been injured, especially my back. So throughout this year, it was a big switch on my mentality. I got to figure out how to really sustain this long term because I know setbacks are normal and they're going to happen again in the future. I just got to be prepared for that right now. And what I've been doing is trying to be stoic with this. I've been into stoicism for about 5 years now, and it's really helped me grow as an athlete and a person. So I'm just trying to focus on the things I can control, which is my health, the workout for tomorrow, and basically go day by day on things. I'm trying not to get too obsessed with the goal of a 42-inch vertical, 45-inch vertical, because when I get goal-oriented, it kind of ruins the thing that I was trying to chase in the first place, which is living a lifestyle like this, being able to train athletes and help athletes all around the world and live the way I do. I basically could have only dreamed about having this type of athleticism and this type of career path and this lifestyle, and I'm living it. So I want to make sure I'm enjoying it, living in the present. And I also got to think about how I'm blessed to even have these problems in the first place. I'm really sad that I'm only jumping 35 inches when I was jumping 41 and a half last year, when people around the world would die for a 35-inch vert. It's hard. Try not to compare yourself. Focus on your own path. Focus on what you can control, and things become a lot more simpler, I promise. Find new hobbies. Not everything is going to be about training and your athleticism. I'm going to go on a tangent, but I always like to look at things as everything happens for a reason. In the beginning, I was like, why me? Why am I dealing with this crazy back pain? There's no reason I should be going through this. And I have a lot of athletes that joined me because they had back pain and knee pain. And there's no way I could have helped them the way I did if I didn't hurt myself. I was looking at this as some type of blessing. Try to find the good in everything. Yeah, hope that answered the question. I'm sorry if that took too long. Jenny Jackson asked, does ChatGPT make good vertical jump programs? Maybe. It really depends on your knowledge, your level as an athlete, and how badly you need that. So if you know nothing about structuring a program, creating your own program, then yes, it's probably going to be better than what you can create. However, there's a lot of really good coaches out there that give off free advice, free knowledge, free value, free programs that are so much better than what chat can give you. So yeah, use that. What else is in here? What else is in here? So Jason Diaz asks, question. I'm seeing an argument about power cleans being overrated and you just need to sprint and jump instead. But I've been following a lot of THP videos daily for years and other pro dunkers who use power cleans like yourself. And I was wondering your thoughts on power cleans. And I've said this so many times. I know John and Isaiah have said this so many times. A lot of the coaches have said this so many times. Exercises are just tools at the end of the day. And the grand scheme of things is the program. A program includes all these different tools that are utilized at different periods of times that will best suit the athlete's needs. So it's really situation dependent. A power clean is probably not going to be good for a 14-year-old, but for an experienced lifter who is 14 years trained and really technically coordinated, it could probably help them. It's also probably not going to be good for a day before a game. It really depends on the situation. But if you're asking in terms of your overall scope of vertical jump training, I do like it. There's no other movement that's going to move this type of weight at this bar velocity. However, it is very time consuming. It is pretty dangerous if you don't know how to do them. So I would definitely substitute them for younger athletes or beginner athletes that aren't comfortable with doing it on their own. You could jump higher without doing power cleans. All right, it's not like the end all be all. Do loaded jumps instead. Do trap bar jumps. Athletic hubs. I don't get it. Why are you always making videos on jumping higher and getting injured every once a few months when you paid hundreds for a program that is considered elite and you're still giving advice? I'm 5'10", standing reach approx 7'6", 7, and I could dunk when I was 17, 18 just by doing a bit of plyometrics. By the way, no hate to this guy. I totally understand. Why am I giving advice when I'm always getting hurt myself? And I'm really grateful to say that I've gotten a lot of messages from you guys that tell me that I've inspired you on your journey. I've inspired you to jump higher and start training properly, and that you've learned a lot from me, and that you've increased your own vertical because of me. And that's exactly the reason why I do it. I share all of this stuff because I like to be relatable. I like to share what I've gone through, because there's a lot of elite athletes out there and you're like, damn. I guarantee you they're also going through these types of setbacks as well every now and then. But to answer your question, Athletic Hubs, because it's helping a lot of people. Cliche answer. If they just want to see my journey, if they want to learn a couple things, I'm glad you ended up dunking at 17, 18 years old just by doing plyometrics. But you know, it doesn't work for everybody. Doing plyos isn't going to help for everybody. It didn't help for me, right? I did plyometrics throughout my whole childhood. I didn't dunk. So yeah, everybody reacts differently to different things, and I just want to share my own 2 cents on what I know. So why don't you just be a little bit more open-minded with things? Maybe watch the video and try to learn a couple things instead of, you know, I see that you're trying to be condescending towards me. But I'm not mad about it. I totally understand the question. I've gotten that a lot, actually. But yeah, Load Manager asks, what's my current vert? Right now, it's 38.5. Ito asks, yo Rick, share tips about eccentric, iso, and concentric and their time and periodization. I think you misunderstood these terms. I believe you were talking about overloaded eccentrics, overloaded concentrics, and overcoming isometrics. I don't know what you're talking about, but eccentric, isos, and concentric is pretty much in every single movement, every single dynamic movement. But it really depends. I can't really answer that question without knowing you as an athlete. You want to make sure, if you do happen to reach out to a coach, make sure that they do a needs analysis on you so that they actually know what you need as an athlete, right? Needs analysis, pretty simple. So if you're talking about overloaded eccentrics, those are really intense and can only really be beneficial if you're an advanced athlete. You'd really have no purpose doing that type of training if you are below 2 years of training. Nathan asks, how can I increase my vertical if I can't go to the gym and want to do drills at home? Look on YouTube, look on TikTok, find body weight workouts you can do at home and copy those. There are tons of great workouts online from great coaches and creators. Just find one that works for you, find one you like, find a creator and coach you trust, and copy what they do. Eventually, you're going to grow out of them and become a better athlete. So eventually, you will need weights to see further improvement. What is the order to work out to train your vertical, plyo, sprints, main lifts? You want to make sure you're doing the least demanding things last and the most demanding things first, so you have enough energy to do those demanding things. So this is an example of how I structure my workouts for my athletes. ISOs, warm up, dynamic stretches, mobility, etc. Fast movement, aka sprinting. Powerful movement, aka power cleans. Main lift, aka squat. And then accessory movements. And I think that I answered all the questions. I don't expect this to really pop off. This is for the real ones out there who watch the videos and really care about this. Feel free to ask me anything. Let me know what type of videos you want me to see. I'm actually working on a technique video. This was pretty cool, pretty fun, just me yapping. So if you care about me yapping in front of the camera for 30 minutes, then feel free to ask me more questions. I'll do another Q&A if you guys like it. But yeah, later. Do you have anything to say, buddy? He's camera shy. All right, see ya.